Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Vice Chair Gonzalez. It is with great pleasure that I make mention of our student advisory speakers for this evening. We know that our student advisors are leaders within their own right in each one of their schools. We so appreciate the fact that Central Conservatory, Putnam Renaissance, SciTech, and Springfield Virtual are represented here this evening. As I've always said, we have the best and brightest students in the state of Massachusetts, so we're about to see and hear exactly what they are capable of. And we know that as leaders in their schools and leaders in the district, as members of the student advisory, we know that they amplify student voice, and we look forward to hearing what they have to share with us this evening.
Very well. Thank you so much, Superintendent Dr. Denal. We have here a list of schools supported by staff member Derek Wright. Mr. Wright, please.
Council. Oh, there we go. The Student Advisory Council has met twice so far this year. Our last meeting, we were able to go over the attendance policy with the student advisors. So tonight you might hear some of them share their thoughts on that, as well as what's going on at their school.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Wright. So first we have Central High School, and we have, and excuse me on the names, please correct me, Khaled Samani, 12th grade.
Yes.
Hi. Oh, supported by Principal Tokars. Please. The floor is yours.
Khalid, are you muted?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I just have some connection problem. Good evening. My name is Kel Zamani, and I'm a senior at Central High School. I have been at Central since 2022, and I'm originated from Afghanistan. Today, I would like to update you guys on events that are happening at Central. Right now, today, today was our annual senior trip to New York City. Almost 200 seniors boarded buses today and headed off to New York. Having a trip like this early in the year allows the seniors to bond with each other while spending quality time together. Our theater renovation are expected to be completed by mid-November, and we are excited to start using this space for our acting classes and other artistic events. Central is planning a ribbon cutting ceremony for our newly renovated natatorium. A big thank to Joe Frederico for making this happen. Central's gym renovation are continuing and should be completed before winter season begins. Central's ROTC was three national competition this year, and we are excited to represent Central High School in Springfield, Massachusetts. While competing against teams from throughout the United States. I am an A sport and love the ROTC. I want to attend Boston University and continue my ROTC career and join military after college. Thank you for allowing me to speak at tonight's meeting.
Thank you so much, Khaled. We appreciate you.
Can I also say that all seniors are present and accounted for, and they're headed home. So we're excited that they all made the bus back on time. So
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Principal Tokars. We appreciate you. Yes. Next, we have Springfield Conservatory of the Arts, Giovanni Santiago, 10th grade. She on Zoom. Or he. Not sure. Okay, we'll come back. Next, we have also from the Springfield Conservatory of the Arts, Jared Rivera Heredia, 12th grade. Does that name appear on the Zoom? No? Okay, we'll move to the next school. We have Putnam High School, and I know she's here. We have Ava Moore. Please, Miss Moore.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Ava Moore, and I'm the senior class president at Putnam High School. As we are high schoolers, it is important for us, especially transitioning out of post-secondary type of education, to understand how our community works, how laws get looked at and how they get passed, especially as we are approaching times when we are getting ready to vote. We recently looked into the attendance policy with the Student Advisory Council, more on the aspect from a student's perspective and why do we miss so much school and how does the administration go about dealing with it in a delicate matter. It is important to understand the importance of policy with its implications and how it can affect one another. Within the past month, we have had a few students involved with the Pioneer Valley Youth sitting in with students 16 years or older during lunches to pre-register or register to vote, as November 5th is quickly approaching. Their main goal is to get students involved in the voting process, as they may not have the knowledgeable resources to teach them about what to expect on election day. I believe at Putnam, checking in with students one-on-one to understand where they're coming from and how to foster a sense of belonging where the teachers know their students individually. Honestly, only 2 out of 7 of my teachers this year have taken the time out to try and build connections with their students. Some teachers are only here to teach and they don't even 100% know their students. Connection within students is extremely important for the students to open up and feel comfortable in the classroom, especially for some who are introverted or they may not have friends who are extroverted in order to assist them. Making each student individually feel comfortable in a space is crucial, and I'm grateful that I have found that within a few teachers of mine, and the ones that I'm extremely grateful for. It allows for an outlet that I may not be able to find outside of school. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Next, we have Renaissance High School, student rep Brian Avila, 11th grade. Hi.
Hello, committee. I'm Brian Avilia, an 11th grader, as well as the representative of the Springfield Renaissance High School, and it is a pleasure to be with you all today. At Renaissance this week, we have been participating in College Career Dream Week. And overall, everyone seems very content being able to dress in a way that expresses their interests and motivations. It has also brought up some meaningful conversations among us of what we want to do following high school, which is such an important message to be addressing. I know that for the students in 11th grade, particularly, who are now looking at colleges and internships, that this is a very important topic. I especially cannot wait for the upcoming college visits and trips being offered to our students here at Renaissance. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to sharing more about our school's community and our students' voices in the future.
Thank you. Next, we have Sci Tech. I see supported here by Principal Kevin Lalim and student Kimora Diaz, 12th grade. Please, floor is yours.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Komar Diaz. I am the senior class president at the High School of Science and Technology, as well as an active member in our student advisory team. The purpose of our student advisory is to enrich student voice and choice in what goes on in our school. That goes from events as well as any uniform that they might want to see. We've successfully been able to carry out our Spirit Week, Pep Rally, and Homecoming, which takes place all this upcoming week. Another thing that we've been doing in the school is starting our Everything Matters podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to discuss student strength and to recognize the diversity in our school. This podcast is 100% student-led, so we're very happy about that. And our hope is that more students would participate in this podcast and be able to build a bond with one another. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have the Springfield Virtual School. Student here, Serenity Martinez.
Hello, my name is Serenity Martinez. I'm an 11th grader at Springfield Virtual School. The reason I'm even standing here today is because I joined the Student Advisory Council. I heard about it at a student council meeting one day, and I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to combine the two things I absolutely love: trying new things, and promoting my school, Springfield Virtual. It has been an interesting experience so far with all of our talk about policy, such as our new attendance policy, and it also gives me an opportunity to show my leadership skills. Leadership is a strong suit of mine, so being in the student council and at the district level is perfect for me. Last year, the biggest thing we planned in student council was our first ever prom. I came up with the theme Hollywood Red Carpet and the trophy superlatives to hand out to our prom court, king and queen. We put on a whole Oscar. It was phenomenal. It actually inspired me to take the lead on planning this year's, actually our first ever, homecoming dance. Planning is easily another strong suit of mine, so it has been a ball planning it. I also came up with the idea for a student-to-student mentoring program called ACE Mentors. We'll get into that a little later. But you should know, my interest expands far beyond school. Though I must say, the qualities I have gained from student council and my school community makes it a lot easier to deal with life. The biggest thing outside of school for me is playing piano. I have played for 2 years and my progress has been amazing. It has been the most fun in the world and I can see myself doing it for the rest of my life. It just feels natural when I'm there. Me, my piano, it's like we're speaking a language only we understand. I actually started a piece recently that has easily become my favorite. It's called Engravings. It's challenging in speed, I must admit, but I've taken on the challenge and man, I just can't give up. Another passion of mine is reading. Not a day goes by that I don't have a new book I'm reading or finishing. That actually sparked an idea to have a book club at SVS. Lots of people are always talking about the different clubs and everything they want at SVS. And this year, it was the first year that we have had clubs in various clubs at our school. For example, the school newspaper, Dungeons and Dragons, yearbook, book club, gaming club, and last but not least, the Empowerment Club, which focuses on mental health and ending the stigma around mental health. Last year, we surveyed the school to get an idea of the most popular club ideas from the students, and then we spoke to teachers to see who would be willing to advise clubs. We managed to get the Empowerment Club started by the end of last year, but this year, we have multiple clubs for our students to participate in. Clubs aren't the only new thing at SBS, though. Like I briefly mentioned before, we have started planning our first ever homecoming dance. We have answered the call, and we're planning and going all out. We're using the Thunderbirds game as our sports event for homecoming week, so we can be as close to a real homecoming as possible. Since we're a virtual school, we don't have sports teams of our own, so we're typically join other schools in Springfield. So we're using the Thunderbirds games as a way to still have a sports event for homecoming. Another way we have found solutions to our problems is by an idea I came up with called ACE Mentors. ACE standing for Always Choose to Encourage, which is a big thing when helping people in general, since things get frustrating or you get unmotivated. Always choosing to encourage your mentee is super important. Everyone needs a little encouragement. ACE Mentors is student-to-student tutoring help. The reason student-to-student tutoring is important is because, one, teachers are limited. It's one person versus 20 plus students. When one student is struggling, they need one-on-one help, which leads into my second point. One mentor to one student. It makes the mentee the main priority and they get the help they need. With the mentor being one of their peers, the mentee might feel more comfortable because they're getting the help from someone just like them. A friend, a classmate, a student. It overall has benefits for both parties, and students who have great academic performances gets their time to shine and show and help with the knowledge they have. The mentees get their academic help they need, and they get to improve their academic performance. It's a win-win across the board. But most importantly, it reduces stress for the students who are struggling. They won't have a million things piled up, and they don't have to deal with the stress of always trying to find that one right answer when working with a teacher. Working with a student, it makes them more comfortable with making mistakes. But overall, Springfield Virtual continues to make strides by always looking for what is best in our student body. We're always looking for change. We might be virtual, but we're still connected. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's time from Springfield Virtual School as well. Eliana Kaimi, 12th grade. No, not here. Okay, we'll return to our two Conservatory of the Arts students, give them an opportunity. I don't know if they're on, either Giovanni Santiago and or Jared Rivera. Are they on via Zoom? Very well. So at this time, we'll have Conservatory of the Arts, Jared Rivera. The floor is yours.
Hello.
Hi.
So I did just join now, due to some inconveniences. Um, what am I supposed to introduce?
You're the student rep for your school this evening, so to discuss any updates you'd like to bring on behalf of your school, the Conservatory of the Arts.
Okay. So one of the things that probably have been like a big issue is definitely attendance. There's a lot of people who come in like very late. Um, as well as there's not really much that I've like noticed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jared. We appreciate you. All right. Again, Conservatory of the Arts, do we have Giovanni on Zoom?
I do think it is just me for today.
Okay, very well. I just want to confirm with the tech to make sure we don't close before we give the opportunity. Again, is Giovanni on Zoom? No? Okay. All right, everyone, that concludes our student advisory speakers. Thank you all for coming out. We will return for regular session. Thank you. Let me know when we're ready. We'll now call to order the regular meeting of the Springfield School Committee. Madam Secretary, if you could please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor.
Present.
Mr. Collins.
Here.
Ms. Gresham is absent. Ms. Hurst.
Present.
Attorney Murphy.
Here.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Here.
And Mayor Sarno is absent.
Just please note that Ms. Gresham and both the mayor send their regrets. Not able to make it due to a personal matter. They're usually always here. At this time, we'll have a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. On our agenda, we have the approval of minutes from the October 10th, 2024 school committee meeting. Don't know if there's any questions or comments or if there is a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Naylor. There's a second. Seconded by Mr. Collins. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor.
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Gresham is absent. Ms. Hurst.
Yes.
Attorney Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
And Mayor Sarno is absent.
Received sufficient votes. This matter passes. Now we'll have a presentation from the Community Music School with Jessica Corwin, Director of the Adaptive Music Program. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. We'd like to
Oh,
start
give me 1 minute. Excuse me. Dr. Superintendent Dr. Denal has an intro she'd like to provide. Please.
No worries, no worries. Thank you so much, Vice Chair Gonzalez. I think it was the pretty pink scarf around Attorney Murphy's neck that distracted me. He's so excited. But very appropriate, Attorney Murphy, because pink is for Breast Cancer Awareness Day.
Trying to fit in.
So we are looking forward to hearing from our adaptive music program. We really enjoy a very strong and meaningful partnership with the Community Music School. I'm mindful of the fact that music is definitely a tool, but it is also a gift. What would this world be without music? And so we enjoy the fact that music is a powerful tool that unlocks student learning and full potential. And we also know that with the neurodivergent affirmations that are used by the resident artists who are part of the adaptive music program, our students in the Links program are able to access music and access learning on a level and in a way that is conducive to them growing, developing, and furthering their enjoyment of the journey that we call life and learning in Springfield Public Schools. It is equity in action. Music should not just be for those who we feel it should be provided for, but it is a gift and a tool for all. And so we appreciate what you all do for us. Jessica Corwin, Nora Cruz, Jen Cass, Aisha Shackley, Julia Urbank, John Burgos, Tara Murphy, and Drew's dad, Rick Marshall.
Thank you so much, Dr. Denal. We're so pleased to have all of you with us here this evening. Ms. Corwin, now the floor is yours.
Thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. We are going to be replicating aspects of a music class tonight, so we'd like to invite you to put your hands on the drums, and Tara, Rick, and Aisha in a musical welcome.
Wonderful.
Let's start with a big drum roll all together.
Hold on.
Slow beat all together.
We're gonna do a quick little rhythm. So, to do this rhythm, all you have to say, and one of my students came up with this, all you have to say is, hey, Mom, I like chicken. All right? And you're gonna play this with your flat of your hand, the hey, Ma, and then the I like chicken. Hey.
Oh, that's so fun.
So thank you for participating with us. We've already been introduced. This is the AMP team. We are joined today by the Executive Director of the Community Music School, Eileen McCaffrey. It is our privilege and honor to teach music to the students in Springfield's developmental, links, and SEBS classrooms. These kids are amazing and we love what we do. To introduce you to AMP, it was founded in 2016 as a partnership between the Community Music School and the Springfield Public Schools to meet a need. The community identified that students with disabilities and high support needs were having difficulty accessing an appropriate musical education, which is a problem in virtually every district across the country. The truth is that music teacher preparation programs, while meeting many, many other credentialing criteria, really don't prepare educators to meet the musical needs of this student population. So with direct input from Rosemary Walczak and Julie Jaron and others, AMP was born. The bulk of our work takes place in Springfield school classrooms, the substantially separate special education classrooms. This year, thanks to support from the district, we are in every elementary intensive special education classroom and several other classrooms as well, serving more than 650 students in 28 school buildings. In addition to that work, we also offer free classes on Saturdays to Springfield children and their caregivers, and we offer professional development opportunities for music and arts teachers in Springfield and beyond. Do you have the clipboard? No. Thank you for bearing with me. There are very few programs around the world that focus on adaptive or accessible music education. We believe that we are the only program with this focus that goes into the public schools to deliver this specialized instruction to students where they are already receiving their free and appropriate public education, where all the other access barriers have been removed. So AMP's presence in the schools is just one of the many things that makes the Springfield Public Schools a unique and wonderful place to learn.
We believe that all children are musical and that everyone, regardless of ability, deserves to be welcomed into the essential human experience that is music making, music loving, and music sharing with others. Removing barriers to music participation changes lives of our students. We have seen firsthand how overall we see our students grow in their social engagement and reciprocity. And individually, we have stories of hearing a child with low motor abilities raise their hand to strum a guitar for 4 whole verses, or other stories of hearing a child speak their very first spoken words to request their favorite song. This growth is possible because music is such a joyful and developmentally appropriate experience for children.
So we are a neurodivergence affirming program. We want these kids to know that there's nothing wrong with them. They are just learning differently, and we're gonna figure it out as a team, how we can help them access the information that their peers might not struggle with as much. And so it's a difference, not a deficit. And we honor all forms of communication. There's a lot of sign language that happens in our classes, and we just want to make sure that everyone's understood. And so if someone's having a hard time asking for what they want, and you'll see half a sign and they're actually saying shoes. They want their shoes on or off or something like that. And so having all these different points of access makes it so that everyone understands each other. And engagement can look really different depending on where they are. It used to be believed that everyone has to be sitting in the circle, crisscross applesauce, in order to learn the information. For some kids, that's really hard. For me, my hip won't let me sit like that, so I'm accommodating. Why not let them accommodate? And they don't have to look me in the eye. That can be painful for some kids. But I know that they're in the room with me, so they're getting an experience. And the more we let them be themselves, the more they're gonna be able to take it in. And really, examples of some of the accommodations, we often teach in the classrooms. So to minimize the transitions, because when the transitions happen, sometimes back in the day, the kids would be coming to us and they'd be 15 minutes late because it would just take that long to get everyone where they needed to be. And meeting them in their space, they're a little more ready to accept what we've got to bring in. We give them breaks from demand. They do not have to be participating the whole time because sometimes they need to stop and process what's going on. And there are definitely times that I think, well, if someone doesn't know what's going on and they look in this window, they're going to be like, I don't know what's going on in that class. But I could tell them all the little things that are happening. Some of the kids are choosing songs, using words. Some of them are using signs. Some of them are pointing to a choice board. Some of them have communication devices. And we connect with the teachers. We can put what we need on those devices too, so that they can ask us specifically for something that they know we can give them.
Celebrating all of the unique cultural forms of expression in the classroom can lead to more engagement and academic success and are assets to learning. So developing asset-based teaching methods, practices that inspire inclusion, especially in centering marginalized communities, BIPOC, immigrants, refugees, neurodivergent, LGBTQIA in the classroom will empower students. Springfield has the largest Puerto Rican population in Massachusetts. Toco, 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 the gigante come coco. We got to celebrate that bomba, those cultural roots. Cultural responsive music in the classroom in both English, Spanish, incorporating Taino, African language, culture, for example, builds bridges and more connection with each other in the classroom. Affirming these cultural characteristics, perspectives, and experiences, and using them to form bridges will inspire more engagement, new learning, and ideas. So some ways to create a culturally responsive classroom, and a lot of teachers know this, but get to know your students. Ask them about their lives and families. Meet their families. Learn about cultures of the families by visiting their communities, going to cultural events in the community. Create a student-centered classroom and embrace an asset-based mindset. Students' cultural experiences, knowledge, languages can be significant assets in the classroom, and thus creating rich learning experiences for culturally diverse students and their peers.
All right.
Now we'd like to model two typical classroom activities. The first one uses a communication tool, and I'd like to welcome Nora to lead you. You're going to need your movement scarf.
Okay, as Jessa said, please get your scarves. And we have blown a big bubble, and it's popped, and it's stuck all over us, and we need to get that icky, sticky bubble gum off of us. So grab one side, grab the other side, and pretend to clap. I've got that icky, sticky, ooey gooey bubble gum, bubble gum, bubble gum. I got that icky, sticky, ooey gooey bubble gum, and it's stuck to my stomach, and it's stuck to your stomach, and I pull, and I pull, and I pull it off. Great job, y'all. I wonder, Dr. Sonia Dinal, can you pick the next body part that the gum's stuck on?
Speaking of this tool that she chose, the hand.
The hands are hands. Better watch out, cause I've got that icky, sticky, ooey gooey bubble gum, bubble gum, bubble gum. I got that icky, sticky, ooey gooey bubble gum, and it's stuck to my hand. And I pull, and I pull, and I pull it off. Great job! I wonder, Denise Hurst, what's the gum gonna get stuck to next? Our leg. Our legs better watch. This is our last one. They count. I got that icky, sticky, ooey bubble gum, bubble gum, bubble gum. I got that icky, sticky, ooey gooey bubble gum, and it's stuck to my leg. Oh man! And I pull, and I pull, and I pull it off. Great job! Oh,
we got a trio effect.
Hello,
Go ahead.
my name is John. I work with this amazing group, and today I'm going to give you a demonstration of something I do in class. Does anyone know what a coquille is?
Yes.
Coquille, right?
See.
Cute little frog from Puerto Rico. It sounds awesome. Can I play it for those who don't know it real quick? Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Beautiful. Go to sleep right now. So I'm going to demonstrate the song for you guys real quick, and then I'm going to pass you some instruments. You guys are going to get to play along with me. That sounds fun? Awesome. For those who know the song, feel free to sing with me, because I don't like to do it alone. It goes like this. El coquí a mí me encanta. Es tan lindo el cantar del coquí. En las noches hay una tarde. Me adormece cantando así. Coquí. I'm gonna ask my amazing team to help me out here real quick. Everyone, you're gonna see an instrument in front of you. It will be color-coded. There will be red and green. And Jess can actually help me direct this so that you guys can play these chords with me. It's gonna be nice and fun.
Okay.
Thanks.
Oh,
Complicated.
this is for her. Thank you.
Press one of them.
Get it.
I'll take those.
Awesome. So check this out. Can I hear everyone's green sound real quick? Hang on.
Oh.
Real quick. As I sing the song, Jess will lift up the colors, and you guys will play those colors as we play together. Sounds good? The song goes like this. El coquí canta, está lindo el cantar del coquí. En las noches me adormece cantando coquí. Awesome. Check this out. Would you guys pass the instrument to the person next to you and give them a try with that one? You haven't? Yeah, my turn. Just so you guys can try another. Can we demonstrate auto harp real quick? That's exactly You guys need a demo on that instrument? That's a little weird, right? So you're gonna hold down. Laura's gonna show you.
Oh, okay.
Like that. Try the red.
I didn't know I could use it.
You got it. You play auto harp now.
All right. This is the last round. You guys ready? And it goes like this. El coquí. Good job.
Thank you all for that dynamic presentation.
Oh, that's fun. So, thank you. What do you call it? That was
Thank you so much.
super fun. Oh, let me get Peter. Thank you. Here you go. Thank you. Peach, you want?
You got the right hat.
I'm having so much fun.
Thank you.
Public can just give us a minute so we can return the instruments. Once again, thank you for the dynamic presentation. We greatly appreciate it. I don't think we have this much fun usually in school committee meetings. I know Dr. Sonia Denal, you'd like to say something, and then I'll open it up to my colleagues for any comment.
Yes, just one more additional piece of information. Thank you so much, Dr. Marissa McCarthy, for letting us know that with the community music school and the fine work that they're doing in this particular program, we do have a professional development planned for Springfield Public Schools music teachers so that we can train them in this type of education and learning and enjoyment. And we wanted to make sure we increase capacity so we also increase equity and access to the program. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Superintendent Dr. Denal. My colleagues would like to comment.
I would like to.
Please, Ms. Naylor.
Uh, First of all, I think that was the most fun we've ever had in a school committee meeting. So thank you for that. I wanted to share a testimonial of a student. A parent reached out to me about a month ago and let me know that her child, who was not speaking, nonverbal, spoke in her class. And it was during one of these songs that she was able to sing, and she was so excited about sharing that she knew the words with the rest of the class. And the teacher reached out to mom and told mom, I want you to know what she did today. And of course, mom reached out and was just excited. So keep up the good work. What you all are doing is really changing not just access, but transforming lives. And I think, especially for that moment for mom to be able to hear her daughter's voice, that means a lot. And so thank you for what you do. Please keep doing that and giving our children this wonderful opportunity.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Ms. Naylor. Anyone else?
Mr.
Collins?
As someone who's actually started teaching in the 70s in elementary, we did it all. So we did music and we did art and we did dance. We were trained to do it all. And it certainly was the highlight of the kids' day. If everything else was going wrong, you got back to the music and everything went well. So we're very grateful for what you do.
Thank you so much, Mr. Collins. Anyone else, Ms. Hurst?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. I will just say, I mean, I echo the sentiments of my colleagues for sure. And just when there's a lot of talk, right, about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and this program definitely demonstrates the importance of inclusion. And so I'm really appreciative of all that the district is doing in partnership with the community music school. My oldest son went there, played the drums with Mr. Marshall, and so it's really important, and it also speaks to why it's so important at such a young age to continue to try and build upon building a strong arts and culture ecosystem here in the valley.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hurst. We appreciate that. Anyone else? Please, Attorney Murphy.
Just thanks very much. I echo Ms. Naylor's comments. It was a lot of fun, really. You know, I sort of dreaded. Terry told us we had this play an instrument, and I was like, please no. But it was really fun. It was great, and you know, they do studies about kids who take music and they do much better in school. You know, and they come out as much more well-rounded adults and people who are good, productive members of our community. And you guys contribute to that quite a bit. And, you know, I hear it from parents all the time about not just the community music school, but the music that we're doing throughout the school system. So thank you guys very much for everything you do.
Yes, thank you, Attorney Murphy. And once again, thank you to the Community Music School, your whole team. We greatly appreciate all of you. If there are no more comments, we'll move with our agenda. Thank you so much and have a nice night to all of you. More than glad to stay for the rest of the meeting as well. At this point, we'll move to voting items on the agenda. First up, we have Central High School field trip to Shakespeare and Company, Lenox, Mass. Superintendent Dr. Denal, please.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Gonzalez. As you know, field trips are an integral part of learning for our students. It reaches beyond the classroom. We love the fact that we are developing well-rounded students who are well-versed in not just their own cultural experiences, but those that extend beyond Springfield. And so we're reaching into areas that some might consider unimportant, But Shakespeare most definitely has a prominent place in theater, in literature, and we're grateful that Central has a vision to expose their students to Shakespeare and Company in Lenox.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Superintendent Dr. Denal. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion made by Attorney Murphy. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Collins. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham is absent. Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
And Mayor Sarno is absent.
This matter passes, receives enough votes. Next, we have a SciTech field trip to Washington, D.C. Superintendent Dr. Denal, please.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Gonzalez. We know that this is indeed an election year. There's no better place for our students to be than in our nation's capital at this critical place in time in history. We're fortunate that Principal Lalim and others at the High School of Science and Technology have the vision of exposing our students to this information inside the classroom as well as live and in person in Washington, D.C.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Superintendent Dr. Denal. Are there any questions or comments?
I would like to make a comment.
Yes, Ms. Naylor, please.
I just wanted to echo the fact that this is really important for our students, but also that civics is something that has been newly implemented into our programming over the last couple of years. And so there's a lot of folks that are not aware that we offer civics classes and that there are as well field trips around that. And so I think this is very important for us to elevate and also to encourage parents. Tell your children to ask about this and get engaged, because the more that you know, the better that you will be able to pay it forward and also be a productive member of society.
That's very important. Thank you so much, Ms. Naylor. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
A motion made by Ms. Naylor. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Collins. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham is absent. Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy? Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
And Mayor Sarno is absent.
Sufficient votes. This matter passes. Thank you. Next, we have item approve Miss Latonia Monroe Naylor to be the delegate to the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, MASC, MASS Joint Conference in November 2024. Superintendent Dr. Null, would you like to speak to this?
Thank you, Vice Chair Gonzalez. I will yield the mic to those who are more familiar with MASC as well as MASS.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ms. Hurst. Would you like to speak to this?
Sure. Not because I'm assuming that it went through subcommittee. Is that accurate? Okay. I was not at that meeting, but I'm speculating that based on years past, that we always elect a member of the school committee to represent us at the MASC's annual conference that's held in November. There's a delegate assembly that's held on one of the afternoons, and the representative that goes on behalf of the school committee votes on the resolutions that have been put forth by a variety of school committees throughout the Commonwealth.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hurst. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion?
So move.
Thank you. Motion made by Mr. Collins. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Hurst. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham is absent. Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
And Mayor Sarno is absent.
Votes are sufficient. This matter passes. The next item on the agenda is to vote to approve an alternate delegate to the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, MASC, MASS Joint Conference, November 2024. I know that we didn't have an alternate to designate, so that's up to the body at this time if folks would like to make any nominations. Ms. Hurst?
So thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. So in the past, when we've not had an alternate delegate, I have served as the alternate delegate, that is, by way of my position on the executive board. It's not preferred that a member serve as a delegate, but it is understood that if a district doesn't have representation, that we can stand in place. So I'm happy to serve as the alternate if that is the will of the body.
We weren't sure whether we could. That's why we didn't put your name on the agenda. So thank you for clearing that up.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms.
I'll be glad to make the motion that the alternate be Mrs. Hurst.
Thank you. Motion made by Mr. Collins to nominate Ms. Hurst as the alternate delegate. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Hurst. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Ms. Gresham is absent, Ms. Hurst,
Yes.
Attorney Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
and Mayor Sarno is absent.
Yes, votes are sufficient. This matter passes. Thank you. Now we're going to approve authorizing both the elected delegate and an alternate delegate to vote on the resolutions at the MASC, MASS conference in November 2024. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion on the floor?
So
Can I say one thing?
Yes, please, Attorney Murphy.
If you know Dr. Denal or Latonia, is this in one of the resolutions says that this is opposed to MCAS, that there's gonna be a moratorium on MCAS? Looks like it's therefore further be resolved that there's a moratorium on MCAS testing effective immediately.
Superintendent Dr. Sonia Dow.
Thank you, Vice Chair Gonzalez. So I do know that there is an item on the ballot in November. I'm not quite sure what the conversation will be at this conference, but I do know that the conversation will occur after November 5th. So perhaps it will be impacted by the outcome of that vote.
Okay. I mean, I think there's a lot of great things in here, particularly firearms stuff. It's really important. And the poverty issues, transportation issues. I think there's a lot of great things here. I just don't feel comfortable voting for a moratorium on MCAS.
Very well.
May I?
Thank you, Attorney Murphy. Ms. Hurst.
Ma'am, Mr. Gonzalez. So I'm not, again, I'm sorry, I apologize. I wasn't at that meeting. In years past, we have separated the resolutions out, or we've approved them all as a slate if we've been in agreement. I don't know if you all had that conversation. I do know that there are varying opinions on question 2. This is not binding, if that is helpful, or I'm not sure how to necessarily explain it, but this would support a yes on 2. However, this happens post-election. And so the MASC has taken a position, and I can't remember if it was 2020 or 2022, there was a similar resolution, and I believe this body may have voted on it, which is what influenced the MASC, this association's position on yes on 2. So I do think, though, that it would be helpful if folks wanted to separate them out, that we give the delegate the authority to be able to vote one way or another, or to give that person the authority to vote in a way that they feel would best support the district. And I only say that because based on previous years, and Ms. Monroe Naylor can speak to this, those delegate assemblies do get pretty heated, and it's not a guarantee that it's going to pass this way. Like, there's amendments that are being brought up on the floor. There's all kinds of things that happen during that delegate assembly.
So, no, please, Ms. Hurst.
So, I mean, typically what has happened is that if my memory serves me correctly, we've given the delegate the authority to, quote unquote, make the best decision for the district in that moment.
Thank you, Ms. Hurst. So in essence, the matters are just matters of discussion and potential action of the MASC, correct?
Yes, I mean, they are resolutions, and they do bring them forward to the state legislature, right? So when they have Day on the Hill, they'll bring it forward if it is something that gets passed. If it doesn't get passed, then it doesn't become a part of the association's legislative priorities.
Very well. Thank you so much, Ms. Hurst.
Mr. Collins.
Mr. Collins, please.
We did have that discussion in subcommittee, and it didn't get printed here, but we did mention that there are often amendments offered, and this would authorize the delegate to use their best judgment when voting on any amendments that are offered.
So are you suggesting, Mr. Collins, that we make an amendment to this vote?
I think they know the intent is that they're supposed to use their best judgment.
Very well. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion again to approve authorizing the elected delegate slash alternate delegate to vote on the resolutions at the MASC conference in November 2024?
So moved.
A motion made by Mr. Collins. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Hurst. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor,
I have a question.
I don't know.
When do I get to ask the question? Is it after
I believe
the discussion?
Yes.
Because you just suggested a change to it, and I had a question behind that.
Someone would like to speak to that. I'm not sure in terms of where your question would fit. It's time.
Discussion, once you start the vote, you're not supposed to have discussion. You probably should have asked, but
Well, y'all just made the change, so that's why I have the question. Once I realized what we were changing it to, and seeing as I'm the person that's going to be the one voting, I did have a clarifying question to make sure that I fully understand what the mind of this body is as I vote yes or no on various items, resolutions.
Yeah. I'll make a judgment call. I'm not sure if that's permitted according to our parliamentarian rules, but Ms. Naylor, I don't think there was any amendment made to item E on the agenda. It's as is there.
I was referring to what Mr. Collins said about me being able to have the judgment to make a decision on whatever amendments may therefore come. So whatever is present here may not be what I vote on, right? Because someone in the audience may say, here's what I really feel it should be, and then now they have a whole change, and it may not be what we're looking at now or even what we're approving here. So what I want to make sure that is understood, that this is suggestive, and it may be very different on the day of voting as to what comes across the desk for us to be able to vote on. But if there's something that is very, folks have a very strong feeling about, then it is important for us to make sure that's notated tonight so that when those amendments are made, I can keep that in mind. If this body strongly feels, for example, that we should not forego the MCAS requirement for graduation, I don't want to be voting opposite if the majority of the body feels very strongly that they want to have it as a requirement or vice versa.
Thank you, Ms. Naylor. What I heard and what I understood is that the body under item E, we were going to be giving both the delegate and the alternate delegate the authority to utilize their best judgment on the matters. Mr. Collins,
on any amendments, right, we reviewed what was printed, and the delegate or alternate uses their judgment if there are changes in the meeting, their best judgment to represent this committee.
Very well. Thank you so much, Mr. Collins. Madam Secretary, can you please proceed with calling the vote on item E, please?
do you want me to start over?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Monroe Naylor,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Ms. Gresham is absent. Ms. Hurst,
Yes.
Attorney Murphy,
No.
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
and Mayor Sarno is absent.
Votes are sufficient. This matter passes. Thank you. Now we'll move to item F. Approve the temporary authorization for the superintendent to review student transportation access for 90 days or until the school committee secures an attorney to review and recommend amendments to the policy, whichever comes first. I believe this went through legislative and contracts. I believe it was a joint subcommittee as well with budget and finance. Superintendent Dr. Dunal, and then I'll open it up to either of the chairs of those respective subcommittees if they would like to speak to the items.
Thank you, Vice Chair Gonzalez. What I find most reassuring is that the school committee has a heart for the children of this district and to do what is best for them. And I believe that is the reason that it was presented for me to be granted 90 days authority to make my best judgment concerning special cases and extenuating circumstances when it comes to the transportation, the safe transportation of our students to and from school. So with that said, I know that there is a desire of the school committee to review the transportation policy, and I accept the opportunity to use those 90 days to make decisions that will ensure the safe transportation of all of our students to and from school.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Dr. Dunal. I'll open it up to either one of the chairs, Chairwoman Naylor and or Chairman Collins, who chaired the joint subcommittee meeting.
The superintendent
Mr. Collins?
did a great job of putting into very few words, thank you, what we said. And right now, the policy is going to be looked at. So while we know there may be amendment coming, if an issue arose, somebody had to address it. And we thought that the superintendent, and she's willing to. So that's why it went in committee.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Any other questions or comments?
May I ask a question?
Please, Ms. Hurst.
Alice? So when this does come back to us, right, after the 90 days or when we have an attorney on board, when we go to look at this particular policy, can we have some data that accompanies it? Like, and I'm not quite sure of the exact data that I would be looking for without it having to be on a case-by-case basis. I think maybe it would be helpful to just find out, like, you know, how many students do we have riding buses? How many of them are falling below that 2 miles? You know, how many are within that 1.5 to 1.9? I mean, those are the calls that we're getting. We're getting the calls of, you know, I'm 1.9 or I'm 2.1, you know, like I'm right on the cusp and I can't get transportation. I'm sorry, 2.1 it would be. But like, how many students do we have like on the fringes? You know, are those buses at capacity? I believe that some of us got one of the similar calls, got the same call where the bus rides right by one of the students who is walking. The other call that I got was that the mother, because of the daughter's low blood sugar, she sends her to school in an Uber on a Lyft every single morning. And so I'm just thinking about, like, because she's at the 2.1 or the 2.2, so she can bring her one way, but she can't pick her up. And based on the way that her blood sugar falls, like they have to put her in an Uber or she gets to car share. So like those are like really extreme cases. And so it just would be good to know like who or how many students do we have falling, you know, in those smaller.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hurst. Superintendent Dr.
Mr. Gonzalez, if I may.
Ms. Naylor?
We did bring that up in the subcommittee meeting, and so Mr. Roach is already working on that. So when we do bring it back for review, he will make sure that we have a report on those situations and be able to provide that kind of data for us to be able to make decisions. One other thing too is that a lot of our buses are not at capacity. As a matter of fact, many of them are not even at half capacity. So there's a lot of room where we would not incur additional costs should we make any adjustments under extenuating circumstances. I want to stress extenuating circumstances, which is why we wanted to at least give superintendent the temporary authorization until the amendment is officially made. But we understand that us not being attorneys, we didn't want to change any language that would therefore cause us to be in violation of whatever laws or policies statewide. So as soon as we get our new firm in and have them review things, they'll be able to make sure we have the proper language. But I did want to assure everyone that Mr. Roach is already working on that and has been requested in the subcommittee.
Very well. Thank you so much, Ms. Naylor. Any further questions or comments on the matter? Hearing none, is there a motion on item F?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Collins. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by, I don't know which side I heard it from, Ms. Naylor. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe Naylor?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham is absent. Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
And Mayor Sarno is absent.
Votes are sufficient. This matter passes. Next, we have reports of the standing committees. Student Parent Concerns, Ms. Gresham is absent. Buildings and Maintenance Committee.
No report at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Collins. Legislative and Contracts Committee, Ms. Naylor.
Yes, we have addressed some of the items that we've been over in subcommittee, but also wanted to just update the public that we are moving forward with a firm that we were able to identify yesterday during our special committee. We're looking forward to that process being seamless. Additionally, there was a joint meeting with student and parent concerns concerning our camera contract, and so we will be having some public sessions, input sessions on November 14th at 5:30 at DeBerry Swan, and December the 12th at Brightwood Lincoln at 5:30 as well. So we want the public to be aware that we are looking forward to folks coming and joining us, providing some information on that particular contract, but also looking for folks to provide input to us so that we are making sure that we're following a very transparent process.
Thank you so much, Ms. Naylor. I'm assuming you'll be working with Ms. Cavan on communications to parents and families on that?
Yes, Mrs. Montemayor, I always try to say that right. Miss Terry is working to make sure that all the information gets out to everyone. Accordingly, there's been a lot of conversation, so I am confident that that will happen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ms. Naylor. Curriculum and Programs Committee, Ms. Hurst.
No report at this time.
Thank you. Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Collins.
We've discussed the items, and as Latonia just said, that we're in those hearings already.
Thank you. Vocational Education Committee, Attorney Murphy.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Technology Committee, I have no report at this time. School Safety Committee, Ms. Gresham is absent. Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Subcommittee, Ms. Hurst.
No report at this time.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to report of the student representative, Ava Moore from Putnam Vocational High School.
Hello, guys. Good evening again. My name is Eva Moore. I am the senior class president at Putnam High School. After speaking with our City Connects coordinator as well as one of our dean of students, I was informed about the shop's services to the public. Auto shops, culinary, Cosmo, carpentry, construction, IT, they all allow for community outreach and networking between not only the shops but with businesses, but with the students. When the students go out and work for the community within these businesses, their names and faces are remembered. This creates a bridge for future internships and job opportunities. Some shops, including early education and culinary, have collaborated with the WYMCA to teach relationship dynamic curriculum. They work with the sophomores and juniors in learning the importance of relationship dynamics, human trafficking, and simply to stay safe during this day and age. Within the past month, we have had a few students involved with the Pioneer Valley Youth sitting in with students 16 or older during our lunches to pre-register or to register to vote, as November 5th is quickly approaching. Their main goal is to get students involved in the voting process, as they may not have the knowledgeable resources to teach them about what to expect on the election day. Our librarian, Miss Leslie Brower, has partnered with the Springfield Library in order to help students sign up for library cards within the city's goal of 10,000 cards. She has been having them come in once a week where they are interactive with the students in raffles, spin the wheels, including prizes and free books. As a fellow lover of reading, I find a lot of importance in reading and the depth of knowledge found within books. Despite the genre, there's always something to be learned from an author's perspective and understanding on a situation. And if you do not agree, it's always an opportunity to challenge it. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you so much, Ava. We appreciate you. Now we'll move to the report of the superintendent.
Excuse me, Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
I have a question for
Please, Ms.
our
Naylor.
student rep.
Gosh, guys, I've never done this before.
I decided to be the first. So, can you clarify again how folks would get access to those services if they're interested from the public?
So typically you would contact the principal or contact the shop themselves. Like there's always the head of the shop, and from there on they get contacted with one of the students or through the head of the shop themselves, which is usually one of the shop teachers. And from there you can place orders, you can get services done that way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that question. Ms. Naylor, are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, now we'll move to the report of the superintendent, and therein we have the contract report for September 2024 and also Discovery High School pinning ceremony. Please, Superintendent Dr. Donnell.
Thank you, Vice Chair Gonzalez. I'd like to draw your attention to the contract report prepared by Chief Roach and his team. You can see the contracts for September 2024, and you can see that Springfield Public Schools is being very fiscally responsible by reporting out the contracts for September. I'd also like to draw your attention to the fact that the pinning ceremony at Discovery Polytech Early College High School was conducted on, is going on to this evening as we speak. And unfortunately, I was not able to be there because I am here. But it is with great pleasure that I announce this pinning ceremony. They're taking their pathways very seriously. So this pinning ceremony allows the students to be inducted into their pathway, and this pathway in their early college model allows for them to access careers in the polytechnical field. And as we know, that is a growing field and a field that's in high demand. So we applaud and congratulate the scholars of our Discovery High School within the Springfield Empowerment Zone, and we wish them all the best. I was able to record a message for them to let them know that I regret that I'm not able to be there, but I do applaud them and congratulate each one of them. As you know, today at City Hall, we had a press conference, Pink and Denim, in honor of Rays of Hope for breast cancer awareness. And we so appreciate the partnership with the City of Springfield and Springfield Public Schools, as employees and staff members from both the city and the schools came together to celebrate and honor those who are breast cancer survivors, as well as to memorialize those who lost their very courageous battle. As you know, breast cancer touches all of us, and we support the Rays of Hope as they continue to raise millions and millions of dollars to find a cure for cancer. Mayor Sarno, Central cheerleaders, members of the Central football team, and a contingent of their marching band treated the staff and students of Boland and Balliet as if they were local celebrities and academic superheroes. We once more celebrated the fact that they are both schools of recognition. There are photo ops, lots of cheers, lots of celebrating both those principals, the students, and the staff. And I tell you, those students, those high school students were rock stars. You should have seen them when they could see the Central High School football players, and their faces just lit up, and they were so full of joy. A couple of more items I'd like to share with the school committee, as well as those who are watching. I'm continuing to conduct meetings with consultants and thought partners to discuss and develop student-centered strategies to support our focus on strengthening the instructional core. We're also making sure that we do exactly what our student rep said is necessary and critical, making sure that all of our students are seen, heard, valued, respected, and cared for, but by at least one caring adult. I heard what you said about teachers. I'm listening to you. We are definitely looking into making sure that all of our students are seen, heard, valued, respected, and cared for. So thank you for sharing that. I'd like to just remind us that we continue to go on our classroom observations. We completed another 24 in the last 2 weeks. Principals are doing an excellent job as they continue to see themselves as instructional leaders, and as our school-based administrators continue to see themselves as instructional leaders. We're engaging in the research-based shifts from principals as operation managers to principals as instructional leaders, and many of our principals are making that shift in great strides in doing an excellent job embracing that role. We're also providing support to our principals through mentoring, coaching, and we're also providing support with our instructional staff. And we at Central Office are in service to our schools. So we're making sure that we are providing service and support to each of our schools. I continue to meet with college university presidents and review the data and develop plans to increase enrollment of our students in advanced coursework. I'd like to say that Putnam is leading the charge at Springfield Technical Community College, and they have several of their students enrolled in this fall semester. I've met with Dr. Yolanda Johnson, who's been doing an excellent job over the years to ensure that our students avail themselves of college opportunities while still in high school. She and I have developed a plan to ensure that we continue to increase the enrollment for the spring of 2025 semester at our area colleges. Last but not least, we're partnering with Springfield School volunteers to participate in the Read Aloud program for all of our elementary students in our elementary schools. We are emptying out central office to make sure that we are all supporting our schools as we go to read to our pre-K through 5 classrooms, and we invite school committee members to join us as we read. Wonderful. So we'll be looking for you in a classroom in one of our buildings very soon. They will be reaching out to each one of you, and we extend that invitation to our city councilors as well. So come one, come all. Early literacy is critical. Reading is fundamental, and we plan on having our children reading on grade level by the end of 2nd grade. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Dr. Donnell. Are there any questions and or comments on the report of the superintendent? Hearing none, we will move to unfinished business. Hearing none, we'll move to new business.
Can I
Yes.
do things under new business? I just wanted to ask, and I don't know that it necessarily has to be under legislative and contracts. It could be, or it could be in our working session in January, if we could have the MASC come in and talk to us about the district governance piece, like the policy piece that we all discussed last night. And then the second thing I wanted to say, and I didn't want to say it because we had already taken the vote or we're in the middle of the vote, is that what could happen, and I believe it has happened in the past, is that after the delegate assembly, that following meeting, we can report back what resolutions passed and how they passed.
Very well. Thank you so much, Ms. Hurst. I'm sure that Ms. Naylor can certainly call that meeting and schedule that meeting on the district governance with the MASC. Any other new business? Hearing none, at this time, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Hurst. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Attorney Murphy. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Monroe-Naylor?
Yeah.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Gresham is absent. Ms. Hurst?
Yes.
Attorney Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mayor Sarno is absent.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of him.
I know.